Hey, are you a photographer wanting to volunteer your time at an animal shelter, but you just noticed they already have somebody working there? So, what do you do? In this video, I want to give you at least 10 reasons why you should collaborate with a photographer at a shelter. This idea came up because I'm in quite a few Facebook groups for volunteer and professional photographers. And oftentimes someone will move to an area, they really want to go out and photograph adoptable animals, but they don't because they see there's another photographer. And that is unfortunate. I say go out and try and get to know that other photographer. And we're going to talk to you about that. I have special guests today, but I want to give you a caveat to this. If you are going to the shelter solely to build your business, this is not the video for you. But if you want to go really to help these animals find homes, help the shelters and causes that are near and dear to your heart, then continue watching this video. I think there's so much room for collaboration and so many pluses to working and volunteering at the shelters and causes for animals in your area and with other photographers. Then we're going to go over so many. And here comes some more pups. I'm at the dog park in Fort Collins right now with a friend of mine, and you'll probably see his dogs and friends' dogs running through. Monique Renee here, photographer at Silver Paw Studio, and I have special guest today. Ready for it? It's Frank!
Hello!
Hello! All right, you have probably seen Frank on my videos before. He is usually in the background, and I have a little arrow saying, Frank, awesome fellow photographer. Right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll link some videos up here and you can see what I'm talking about. So Frank and I met, oh my goodness, 4 years ago, probably?
Yeah, probably.
Probably
Yeah.
about, yeah. I was doing some work at photographing dogs, but I thought, well, maybe the cat rescue needs some help too. And so I went down to the cat rescue and they said, well, gosh, we already have a volunteer covering the cat shelter. And I was like, well, okay. And instead of just walking away, I thought, well, who is he? Who is this person that's also photographing the animals? I must meet him. And so that was my attitude. So I said, let's just have lunch sometime. So we met and had lunch, right?
Yeah.
And just hit it off. We've really been teaming up since then, I would say.
Yeah.
So at one point, Frank was going on Sundays, I was going on Wednesdays, so we were covering all of the needs that way. And then since then, we've just decided to go the same day.
Yeah. Now that I've retired and have the time during the week, during the day.
Yeah, and I should also mention, Frank is a professional photographer as well. So Frank, what is the name of your business?
Compelling Images Photography.
People often ask, oh goodness, why are you pairing up your competition? Like, that is not how we see it at all. Frank and I serve different clientele.
Yeah.
We have different styles to our photography, different subjects we like to photograph.
Yeah. Yeah, there is some overlap, but you know, we're friendly. We're not in any kind of real super, hardcore competition. You know.
No.
We're just really good friends.
Yeah, we've learned so much from each other.
Oh,
Every week when we
absolutely.
meet at the cat rescue, we talk maybe a little bit about gear. We talked about gear 2 minutes ago. That's kind of my backstory with Frank and I photographing all the adoptable animals. And I sat down this morning after a couple conversations with Frank and wrote down a bunch of I have 10, and we might come up with more, 10 reasons why we think that you should reach out to a fellow photographer volunteering at a shelter that you'd like to volunteer at. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, is everybody ready? Maybe we'll each take one.
Sure.
You want me to start? You
Sure.
want to start?
You can start.
Okay, so the first one is you can tag team all the adoptals. Now, to me, especially if you have a high intake shelter. Like Frank said, at this point, we work together on Mondays, but you might find that if you tag team with a fellow photographer at the same location, they can take one day, you can take another day, and then you know all of the animals that week have adoption portraits.
Right, and especially for, high intake animal shelters. I mean, there's just can be overwhelming for a photographer to come in and find it's just have to photograph, dozens of animals, and having another photographer, we can kind of spread the workload.
For sure. So number 2, Frank, what do we got for number 2?
Gear setup, table versus kennel. I tend to photograph inside the cat's kennel, which is a fairly small space, but I have the gear set up with, speed light and, remote triggers, so I can catch the critters inside their crate being cute, hopefully.
Number 2 is gear setup. And so Frank, show him your setup here. Frank shoots with a Nikon, and he usually has his gear ready to go with a wider angle lens and a speed light.
Right. And speed light is triggered remotely, so I can position the speed light with, has a light modifier on it.
Yeah, and I usually have my long 70-200 on, and I have to stand far away, and I use that little table setup. So it's really actually very convenient for the kitties too. Number 3 is a favorite of mine, event coverage. So often these shelters and organizations have different events like fundraisers and 5Ks and pet expos, and they need a photographer to cover that event. And I'm not a big fan of covering events.
Yeah.
So I say, please call Frank.
Yeah, I've gotten to, keep that in my little bag of tricks, is that I do a lot of events, not just for cat rescue, but also for other rescues and groups in town. And it's just good to help. It's what I can do, what I can contribute to the organization. With event photography, the best thing is to have more than one photographer there, because you can't always be everywhere to get all the moments,
right? Yeah. And that's a good point too, because often at the ones that we're at anyway, there's a photo booth. So I might have all my equipment at a photo booth, and you're running around trying to photograph all the action. Event coverage, awesome.
For special projects, a lot of times these groups have special things they need photographs of. At the big fundraiser, Magnificent Beasts, these are local artists create their interpretation of dogs. Well, now it's dogs and cats, and they kind of let their imaginations go wild, and they only need photographs of those for the website to promote it.
Yeah, so like catalog images for the auction items. Yeah, so oftentimes they'll have special projects, and maybe I don't have the skills or equipment for that, and your partner would. Yeah. Number 5, if one of you is sick or gone. Hey, we all go on trips, so we all get a cold or anything comes up, and it's so nice to say, hey, I'm not going to be there, but you know that those animals are still going to be photographed by your partner at the shelter. So that's huge, actually. What's 6?
6, styles. Every photographer has their own particular style. I tend to go for more of the headshots, the close-ups, to kind of get that great expression, and maybe a kitty is like licking your nose or something, which is always fun to do. Monique is more of the full body, a little further back, just because of the equipment and circumstances, and that's her particular style. Multiple styles provide the shelter with multiple photos that they can use however they feel works for them, either for promotion or for to put online as adoption photos of their other animals.
And actually, that reminds me of a subset of that. Is sometimes maybe I've taken the studio pictures of some kitties, but they're long term. Maybe for some reason they're not getting adopted. And so then it would be a good time to call Frank and say, Frank, let's get your style of photo on these kitties as something different and fresh. Yeah, that's an awesome idea. Number 7 is there's more choices for the rescue or the cause of the organization. I think this is huge because often I will talk to them and they'll say, well, we didn't want to put that burden all on you, or we weren't sure who we should ask. It's so great to have all these options for their events, their special projects, their adoptable portraits. To go along with that, I would say it takes that off their plate as well. So when Frank and I are photographing the kitties, we don't have to take any of their staff to do that. We know that they are super busy already. So much more choices for these rescues. Moving on to number 8.
Animal handling expertise.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is kind of, my little area. I seem to be the cat wrangler for the cat rescue.
It's true.
I
They
don't know,
love him.
For some reason, the kitties like me and, attracted me and seem to sort of behave, more or less, as much as a kitty can behave. So I enjoy it. I really love the kitties.
You might have one skill set that the other person doesn't have.
Yeah, and then you can learn from each other also.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, gosh. I've learned so much from Frank. Okay, one of Frank's tricks, I'm going to give away one of your secrets.
Oh, no.
One of Frank's tricks at the cat rescue is he always has treats in his pocket.
Oh yeah, definitely.
In his shirt
treats.
pocket, right there. He always has some kitty treats. And I'll kind of panic for a second, like, oh no, we got to get a treat on this table. And he's like, gotcha, bam. And it's so great.
Yeah. I just have to remember to take him out of my pocket before I leave the shelter.
Oh.
Because otherwise my own kitty is like all over me.
Yeah. Number 9, and we've kind of alluded to this, is idea generation. And this can go through all the different genres of photography you're working at that rescue or shelter organization on. It could be, oh goodness, they want us to do a holiday theme or, a spring theme. What should we do?
Yeah. And how to arrange things. And it's just the synergy of two people working on the same project and kind of feeding off each other. Pretty cool.
Idea generation is fantastic. Frank, what's okay, everybody, number 10 is my favorite.
Make new friends.
Make new friends. Frank and his wife Valerie are such good friends now. Hi, honey. This is Frank's dog, by the way.
Yeah, this is Zukov.
This is Zukov, also my friend. Yes. We have become amazing friends. We go out to dinner together. They've helped me through some hard times in my life. We see each other every week. We talk about camera gear and animals and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. So
what's going on and even business and,
oh gosh,
all sorts of stuff.
Oh, business and the industry, all kinds of things. So if that's the only perk you take away, that is gold. That is so awesome. What do you think, Zukov? Were those good tips? Zukov! What doing?
Just one note, you may not be familiar with the breed of dog that Zukov is.
Yes.
Zukov is a Borzoi, that's spelled B-O-R-Z-O-I. The Russians had bred them to hunt wolves way back when. They used to be called Russian wolfhounds. So Zukov is 5, and he's quite the critter.
Yeah.
They're a breed called sighthounds, which includes dogs such as whippets and greyhounds.
Thanks for meeting me out here.
Oh, you're welcome. It was fun.
And that's it for today. As always, I wish you many woofs, purrs, and TREATSs.